At Thanksgiving dinner, my sister stood up, rolled her eyes, and said, "Let's all thank her for reminding us what happens when you aim low and miss anyway." Laughter exploded around the table as I sat stiffly, holding back tears. 3 years later, I returned home driving a car she couldn't even afford to dream about, and I made sure everyone saw the look on her face. I haven't told this to many people. Not in full, anyway. But after what happened last Thanksgiving, I think it's time. 3 years ago, I was broke, tired, and full of shame. I had just failed hard in Austin. I had gone there thinking I could finally be independent, do my own thing, live on my own terms. I had a plan, or at least I thought I did. I was doing online gigs, pet sitting, driving for delivery apps. But no matter how much I worked, it wasn't enough. Rent kept going up. Gas prices shot through the roof. Clients disappeared. And one day, I realized I couldn't do it anymore. I drove back to New Braunfels, Texas in the same car I'd been sleeping in, with less than $40 to my name and a broken charger cable. I felt like trash. My mom let me stay at her house. I could see in her eyes she was glad to see me, but also worried. She didn't say it out loud, but I could feel it. My dad? He mostly kept to himself. We're not close. Never have been. Then there was Rochelle, my sister. She was everything I wasn't. High school cheerleader. Top of her class. Married a guy with a trust fund. Bought a 5-bedroom house before she was 30. 2 kids in private school. Hair always perfect. Teeth like a Colgate ad. Rochelle made everything look easy. But what she did best was make people feel small, especially me. She always had this way of talking down to me while pretending she was just joking. If I ever got upset, she'd laugh and say, "Oh my God, lighten up. You're so sensitive." Anyway, I was staying at Mom's, trying to find any kind of job that would pay. I walked dogs, cleaned gutters, even painted someone's deck for $50. It was humiliating, but I kept telling myself it was just temporary, that I'd figure it out. Then came Thanksgiving. Mom invited the whole family. I tried to avoid it, but she begged me to help, said it wouldn't be the same without me. So I caved. I helped cook, set the table, cleaned the bathrooms. I even made a pumpkin pie from scratch, just to show I could still contribute something. People started arriving around 3 p.m. Rochelle showed up last, of course. She walked in like she owned the house, wearing heels too high for a family dinner and some kind of designer blouse that probably cost more than I made that month. Todd followed her, holding a bottle of wine like he was presenting it to royalty. I kept my head down most of the evening, tried to stay out of her way. Then dinner started. Everyone was eating, laughing, drinking. My Uncle Rick made a joke about politics. My Aunt Jen talked about her dog needing surgery. Rochelle was going on about some spa weekend in Scottsdale. Then my mom raised her glass and said, "I just want to say I'm thankful to have all my kids home. It's been a hard year, but having you both here means everything." That's when it happened. Rochelle stood up slowly. She didn't even look at me at first. She looked around the table with this fake warm smile. Then she rolled her eyes, tilted her glass toward me, and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Let's all thank her for reminding us what happens when you aim low and miss anyway." Silence for half a second. Then laughter. Actual laughter. Like it was a joke from a comedy special. My cousin Matt clapped his hand on the table and nearly spilled his drink. My Aunt Jan giggled behind her napkin. Even my dad let out a soft heh. I just sat there. My face went red. I could feel it. My stomach twisted up, and I wanted to crawl under the table. I didn't say a word. Didn't even look at her. My mom gave her a half-hearted "Rochelle," but she didn't press it. She never did. I sat through the rest of dinner like a ghost. Didn't eat. Didn't talk. Just stared at my plate while everyone else laughed and passed around pie. Later that night, when everyone had gone home, I sat on the couch and cried into the same blanket I'd been using all week. I felt like nothing. Like I didn't belong anywhere. Like maybe Rochelle was right. Maybe I was just a loser. But something inside me changed that night. Something hardened. After that Thanksgiving, I stopped talking to most of my family. I stayed with Mom for 2 more months, worked every job I could find, and saved every dollar. I skipped meals. I walked instead of driving to save gas. I didn't buy anything I didn't absolutely need. I kept my head down and just worked. In January, I moved out. A guy I met doing handyman work needed a roommate. The place was a dump, but it was cheap, and it was mine. I finally had some space to breathe. Then came the moment that changed everything. I was scrolling through Craigslist one night, looking for side gigs, when I saw an ad for a free online business course. Normally, I'd have skipped it. Sounded like a scam, but something made me click. The guy running it used to be a plumber, then started a drop shipping business that took off. I watched every free video. Twice. I took notes. I didn't have the money to buy into his full course, but I used what I learned to set up a small online shop reselling clearance items from local stores. It was slow at first. I made $10 here, $20 there. But I kept at it. Every dollar I earned went back into more inventory. I learned how to write better product descriptions, how to use ads, how to read the analytics. I stayed up until 2 or 3 a.m. most nights just grinding. 6 months in, I made my first $2,000 month. By the next year, I had built a steady stream of income. I was doing well enough to quit all my other side jobs. I started another online store, then another. I kept everything quiet. I didn't post about it, didn't tell family. I didn't want to jinx it, or give Rochelle any more ammunition. Meanwhile, she was posting nonstop about her dream life. But if you looked close, you could see cracks. Todd's business was struggling. They downsized to one SUV. She stopped talking about her Scottsdale spa trips. I started seeing something I hadn't expected, envy. She messaged me once, randomly. Asked if I still did that little eBay thing. I just said, yeah, still doing my thing, and left it at that. I knew she was sniffing around, trying to figure out what I was up to. But I said nothing. I waited. 3 years passed. I built my business to 6 figures. I hired help. I even started coaching others how to do what I did. Quietly, steadily, I stacked wins. Then last summer, my mom called. She said the family wanted to do a big Thanksgiving that year. Said Rochelle had been asking about me, wondering if I'd be there. I knew what she was really doing, trying to see if I was still the same loser she mocked. So I made a decision. I rented a car. Not just any car. A black 2023 Porsche Cayenne Turbo. I paid in cash for a 3-day rental. I didn't care what it cost. This was going to be my moment. Thanksgiving morning, I showed up late. On purpose. I waited until everyone else was already there. The house was full. Cars lined the driveway and street. I pulled up slow, music low, windows down. People stepped outside to see who it was. I stepped out in black jeans, boots, and a plain white tee. Simple, but clean. Not a logo in sight. Just enough to look sharp. I walked in, kissed my mom on the cheek, and handed her a bottle of wine I'd had delivered from a high-end vineyard in Napa. Rochelle came around the corner holding a tray of deviled eggs and froze. Her eyes went straight past me to the car in the driveway, then back to me. She blinked, then smiled wide. Fake, of course. Oh wow, someone's doing well, she said, her voice high and tight. I smiled back. Yeah, things have been busy. She tried to play it off, asked what I was up to these days. I gave her just enough to annoy her. Oh, still selling stuff online. She laughed too quickly. Still doing that? Wow, that's impressive. She wanted details. I gave none. Dinner came. People kept asking about the car. I just said it was a rental, but smiled when I said it. Let them wonder. Let her wonder. Then something wild happened. My cousin Matt, same guy who laughed the hardest 3 years ago, asked how I could afford a car like that, even as a rental. Before I could answer, Rochelle interrupted. I'm sure she's just trying to make a point, she said. Not everything's about appearances, you know. That's when my mom, quiet this whole time, said something I'll never forget. Maybe not. But you weren't worried about appearances when you made her the punchline 3 years ago. The table went silent. Rochelle's face changed. She looked like someone had slapped her. I just looked down at my plate. Calm. I didn't need to say anything. Everyone else kept eating, but the air was different. Rochelle didn't say much the rest of the night. After that Thanksgiving dinner, I thought I had finally won. I left that night with a quiet kind of pride. I didn't need to rub anything in Rochelle's face. The silence she sat in was louder than anything I could have said. I figured that was the end of it. I made my point. She'd been put in her place. Story over. But I should have known better. Rochelle doesn't lose quietly. A week later, I started getting strange messages. It started small. One of my clients emailed me saying they'd gotten an anonymous tip that my business was running fake reviews. That was a lie. I never paid for reviews in my life. Then someone reported my store for violating policies. Again, false. For a while, I thought maybe it was just bad luck. These things happen sometimes when your business grows. But then a coaching client told me someone messaged them from a burner account warning them I was scamming people. Same story. Fake reviews, shady business, inflated results. It didn't make sense. I hadn't done anything wrong. I was running everything by the book. But it was like someone was trying to drag me down by throwing dirt, hoping something would stick. That's when I remembered that message Rochelle had sent me months ago, asking about my business. It clicked. I started digging. The burner account that messaged my client? Same writing style Rochelle always used. Same phrases. The email that reported me to my platform? Created using an old AOL address. And guess who still used AOL? Rochelle's in-laws. I was furious, but I didn't act on it. Not yet. I tightened up everything. Privacy, passwords, client lists. I documented everything. I contacted a lawyer friend I'd helped with online marketing the year before and asked her what I could do if someone was trying to sabotage my business. She told me to sit tight, keep records, and wait. So I waited. A month later, I found what I needed. A client of mine forwarded an email that had been sent to them by accident. It was supposed to go to someone else. And at the bottom, it said, sent from Rochelle's iPhone. She had used her real phone, probably by mistake. I had her. I called my lawyer friend that night. We drafted a cease and desist. Sent it certified. Gave her 48 hours to respond. She didn't. But Todd did. He emailed me from his business account, begging me not to take this any further. Said Rochelle was going through something, that she was feeling insecure and acted out. I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded the email to my lawyer and copied Rochelle. Then I posted on my private business coaching group, without naming her, about what to do when someone tries to smear your name. I included screenshots, redacted names, but the message was clear. 2 days later, Rochelle called me. I didn't pick up. She left a voicemail, her voice shaking. She said she was sorry if things got out of hand, that she wasn't thinking straight, and that she hoped we could move forward. Still, I didn't respond. Not yet. After Rochelle left that voicemail, I sat with it for a long time. I played it back twice. She sounded scared. Not sorry, scared. Like she knew this time she couldn't laugh it off or twist the story. This time, I had receipts. I thought about deleting it, calling her back, being the bigger person. That's what people always say, right? But I remembered sitting at that table 3 years ago, shrinking into my seat while the people who were supposed to care about me laughed in my face. I remembered what it felt like to cry alone on a couch in the dark while Rochelle popped champagne across town. So no, I didn't delete the voicemail. I saved it. Then I called Todd. He picked up fast, like he'd been waiting for it. Look, he said, before I could say anything, we didn't mean to hurt your business. Rochelle just got carried away. Things have been hard, our finances, her family. It's been stressful. You don't need to ruin everything over this. Ruin? I asked, calmly. You think I'm the one who ruined something? I just mean, you're successful now. What more do you want? I paused. What do I want? I said. I want her to feel what it's like when someone rips something out from under you and dares you to smile through it. Then I hung up. I posted one final message to my business group. This time, I didn't hide names. I laid it all out. Rochelle's name, screenshots, the voicemail, Todd's email. I didn't spin it. I didn't insult her. I just told the truth. It spread fast. Within 48 hours, people were sharing it on other forums. Word got out that Rochelle, wife of Todd of H&K Realty, had been actively trying to destroy her own sister's business out of jealousy. Then came the fallout. Todd's company let him go to avoid bad press. Rochelle's kids got pulled from their private school, too expensive now. They sold their house a month later. And Rochelle? She finally called me again. This time, she was crying. She said she lost everything. That people were whispering behind her back. That her friends were gone. That Todd blamed her for everything. I know I messed up, she said. I ruined my own life. Is that what you wanted? I didn't answer right away. I thought about all the times I could have given up. About how hard I had worked to pull myself out of the dirt. About how she tried to tear it all down because she couldn't stand to see me win. You didn't ruin your life because of me, I said, finally. You did that all by yourself. Then I hung up. I didn't block her. I wanted her to see every win I posted from that day forward. And I kept growing. Bigger stores, more clients, speaking gigs. I bought my own car, same model, same color as the one I rented. This time it was mine. But I'll be honest with you. I'm not proud of everything. Maybe I took it too far. Maybe I should have called her out privately, given her a chance to fix it before going public. Maybe I let my anger run the show. But after 3 years of being treated like a joke, I stopped caring about being liked. She took her shot and missed. This time, I didn't. And the silence that followed? That was the real feast.